Hello my vacuum cleaner chums, and welcome to the reassembly of the Dustette. So what's happened since you've been away? Well, that joint there and the cable I wasn't very happy with, mainly because it snapped about there. That's the other side. Let me turn the light on. There we go. So I've soldered new heat shrink and hopefully it'll be right. We can but see. So first off we have to put the coil in there, that lovely shiny bearing that says grease impregnated. It's probably not very impregnated now, but there's not a lot I can do about it because I don't own a Hoover grease gun. I'd love to own a Hoover grease gun. I'll just see if it says what type in the picture manual. I'll pop this back on, don't take it off for the full effect. We'll put that there. So I'll need that in a minute to work out where all the washers go. So first off I have to get this back in here and get the motor cables through that little hole there. Why are you not focusing? Let's take that away. There we go. That's right. There we go. That's autofocus. So you won't see this because I've got to see it, and it's going to be tricky even for me. Everybody have a good day. I had a horrible day at work, but luckily, hopefully, I'm not at work tonight. All depends though. Do have a parcel coming though, so I might end up being at work just to pick that up, even if it's not to actually work. Let's try some needle nose pliers. I need to try and get that through the little tiny hole there. There we go, look, by the blue cable. There must have been some easy way of doing it at Hoover. Maybe they just got used to it after making tens of thousands of them back in the day. What I imagine is this bit wasn't riveted to the back of the fan case and I'm not messing around with rivets. I can't, well, I could, but I'm not going to. There's not much point. We'll get there. One's through. I just need to line it up. I now can't see because I have to see the flash. Where are we? Come on. Oh. Hoping this works after this. At least a bit better than it did before. Because I've cleaned up. Actually, you can just see that the coil out inside of the coil was thick with grease. My Hoover 262 had done that when I first got it, so it ran like a sack of that. And after a damn good clean up, it worked very well indeed. Oh no, missed that. Oh, how are you doing? Come on. I won't edit this bit out because you can see how difficult it is. So if you do ever do your own Dustette, which I highly recommend, because there's some lovely Dustette machines out there still, you'll know what to expect, because the alternative is chopping off the ring connectors, and that's not a great thing to do because you can't get them anymore. So you'd have to do what I have done many times before, which is loop it around a screw terminal, which is always a bit of a cop out really. If you've got it, you should use it. Oh, hello. We're inserted, but we're not quite through. Hang on. I wonder if I can pull that out this end. Hey! There we go. Oof. See, I've messed up the end of that cable already. Look, you can see there, you can see a lot more wire than there was. Whoops. Never mind, there's not a great deal I can do about that. It should be alright once I get it wired up. Now, I have to tuck the carbon brush holders back on themselves just to get this in. And that slides in there like that until the screw hole, you can't, yeah you can, until you can see the screw hole through the coil. Now let's just check that that's going there the right way, that's not caught up on anything. Groovy. So we want the coil screws. Oh, I've lost it. Where you gone? Yep, there we go. One. And two. I'm probably not going to film every strip down I do, because I do prefer the pictures. But I started this one, so I shall finish it. And maybe if I have to do a duplicate, like I've got another dolphin to do, and I've done a few refurb threads on dolphins, so I'll put that. Ah, well, they'll clean. So, next thing is to get these little wires here, which those around the carbon brush terminals. Now, this is the same system as used in the 119 motor and 262 motor, and probably many others as well. And it's basically involves snapping the little loop around the holder, which is quite difficult, especially when you've got chunky fat fingers like me. Oh, there's one. To get right. If you had thin girly fingers, you get this first time. It's not too difficult to get. Oh yeah, that was done as well. Look at that. After all the moaning I did, it's done. They sit just around. Oh, it's difficult to do back to front. There we go. Look there. So now this is where I need this, because it shows where all of the little washers go on the armature. Where's your lot? There they are. Because they all sort of fell out of it. They're not. Yeah, they're all sort of there. So we need to get these fairly right. So I'll pop that there. Load it up on my tripod. And on the back side we have, what do we have? Right. That one goes on the front. That one there is for the fan side and sits that way round. Because luckily the picture shows the hand of it. The way round it goes. So that sits there. And here we have washer. No, I'm not missing anything from this, because these are exactly how it came. Then there's a cup, a felt pad and another washer. That sits that way round. No, that's it actually. That's all I've got. So it must be right. Maybe that's just however many you could have. I don't know what else to do about this. So we'll just stick it in. What's the worst that can happen? I'll check for any sloppiness when it goes back. So that sits in there like so. It spins or just feels. I'm wearing a white shirt. That was silly, wasn't it? I really must not touch my hands at all. So sort of sits there. Next is going to be, I think, to pop the fan case on. I'm just going to stick a little. And it's a new cotton buzz, a little smear of grease just around there. I can't get it into the bearing because I lack the correct tool. But I can stick it around the mating face. Now, the screw holes around the side only go a certain way. As you can see, they don't quite all line up. Right, there we go, I think that's got it. So you have to check, 1, 2, that they all work. Then you need your 4 screws out. I'm going to have to pause and wash my hands when I get to reassembling the outer bit because I polished that last time. There we go. 1 screw. 2 screws. 3 screws. 4 screws. And pop them in just loosely. And then screw them up like so. So I've decided not to autofocus very much there. I hope that hasn't been blurred for too long. I do apologise. I just use my phone really because I can't afford a camera. Well, I could, but I've got other things I should be buying rather than a decent video camera. My phone does work very well. Full HD, that'll do. So, there we go. That works. But it did that anyway, so I'm not too fussed about that. I reckon that'll be alright. So next, we've got the fan. That slots on like so. Oh yeah, because once this is bolted up, it should pull it all true. Hopefully. Then the very thinly left-hand thread fan bolt. There we go. Let's pop that in there. And then lay a ratchet, which will be on undo. Definitely not missing any washers. See, I do have another Dustette, so if this really doesn't sound very healthy, I've got a scrapper. So we'll have to have that apart and check its bearings and washers. But that's all that came out. I have to really look through the strip down. So, this back part goes on next. Well, it was on before, but I took it off just for completeness. Right, got the screw in there. And that spins nicely, like so. Next we'll put the carbon brushes in. They only go in one way. Like so. Screw the caps down. And the other side. Screw the caps down. There we go. Let's just try and tweak this up. Just a little bit more. I think that's as good as that's going to get. Right, I'm going to quickly wash my hands before we touch the outer parts, which are looking as lovely as they're ever going to look. Thanks to some polishing. So, hang on. I shall pause once I walk around the other side of my table. There we go. All cleaned up ish. Good enough. Drink. and we can move on now. Again, we need to fiddle some more wires. These need to go in through the big hole there, so the small hole there lines up with the small hole there. And this is slightly easier because I can get my fingers in down the back. Well, actually, one more thing to show you, I cleaned up the pads that hold it vibration. They were rock hard, and after a good wash, they're nice and soft again now, so that might help it. They sit over the thicker part of this. In fact, yeah, I can feel that gripping it already. So 1, 2, come on, 2, come on, 2, and 3. There we go. Pop those out there. Then this needs to go in the right way, and I'm going to secure it with one of the handle screws in a second. I need the handle. And the wires need to go up through there. Come on. There we go. And this is where it gets fun because I now can't see anything. But I don't think it's moved. It has, thank you for that. Of course, when it was being made at Perivale, there's probably a jig for this. It would have got clamped into a jig and screwed together. There we go. That'll do. No, it won't. Now we need the fan case seal. This goes on there, and then it's 3 screws. We'll do this one first because it will be hidden by the handle. There's there, one there, in you go. One there. This does need a repaint, as you can see, but I'm almost tempted to not, mainly because A, I can't paint, never have done, really should learn, and B, it'll ruin its patina, won't it? I know some people like vintage, fresh mint machines. I don't mind them slightly battered. They've been used after all. I'm sure with some paint, a bit of sandpaper or wet and dry, and some primer and some paint, and then a lot of polishing, it could look lovely. And one day it might, but for now, we're just going to go, we're getting it working. There we go. May as well put the front handle screw back in, just because we've done the others, and it will stop the handle from moving about. And this one is screwing home properly. There we go. Right, now for some wires. And over here I have the cable. I don't know if you remember this, but it was filthy. It was white, water stained. It's still not 100%, but it's good enough. It took about 3 hours to get it looking like that. It's beautiful. And so with some more time it could look even better, but it took ages. I want to get it together. It will be fine. So, oh, I got this wrong last time. It goes in that way. With that pointing just slightly upwards. Like so. Now then. In regards to the switch, I need to be careful where the wires go here so they reach. One side of the motor wire, or one of the motor wires, to one side of the switch. like so. This is why I didn't want to cut the rings off, because this is where it gets really fiddly. My 375's had a replacement cable, and it's awful because, well, I really just sold it up. In fact, this side might have as well, because it's only got a little little piece of wire. So I have to tuck up, hold in place and clamp down. So the live goes to the switch from the mains cable. Oh, in fact, I have missed something. I've missed that, which is the bracket for the handle. Silly me. Never mind, I'd rather find it now. Looking at my little diagram. See, service manuals are so handy to have. I highly recommend them. That's why I do my strip down threads for machines that haven't got. So you stand half a chance. There we go. So that goes there. The switch is sort of held there on its own, and the wire's tucked down the side of there. And next, we need to take this screw off that I've left in there, because I didn't want to lose it. And we need to join the neutral together, which is where this little block comes in. This little block holds the neutral to the two halves, so that screws in. There's a thread in the handle. Does it? No, wrong way around, Sam, wrong way around. Half of it's got a thread in it, half of it screws to the thread of the handle. That's the one. I'll get it right one day. So I'll start the screws off just to hold it down still. I started the wrong screw off there because, let's move forward a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So that screw goes in there and sits in the thread inside. I'll let go of it in a second and I'll get it started. There we go. Like that. Then the neutral from the mains cable just tucks itself under there, which is why that's got a little plate on it. Go away, knife wire. And that clamps down there, like so, held in by the other side. Job done. Now this machine has its own earth, which comes to, I don't know why it's got an earth, it doesn't go anywhere, but it had it, so we'll buy it back in. It goes to a little block on its own at the back. That's not a Sydney service manual, but it's an American service manual, and I know American wiring works very differently. It's called the Pixie in the US. And I've seen pictures, and it's basically just got a different toolkit and a slightly different fan casing as well. So there we go, we have it wired up. We just need to tidy the heck out of these wires. So let's put you right down there, and you right down there, and tuck you down, you down there, you down there. There we go. Next is what remains. I've put 3 random pieces there, but I know that I did have anyway, because most of it remains of this smashed top. It sits here. It doesn't sit on very well because it's smashed and warped as well, very warped. But I can get the back part on by using a piece of the broken piece as a washer. And the original screw. I do have a scrap machine with a nicer handle. I don't think it's mint, but it's nicer, coming in the post. And I do need another one, so if anybody does have a Hoover Dustette that they're going to throw in the bin, please let me have at least a handle or post with the whole thing. I'll be happy with that. That's as good as it's going to get, I think. It's not beautiful because that's the state of the front handle, because it should screw down at the front. You can see there where the bracket is. That should be clamped. The switches sit slightly differently. that should screw down, but you can see it's warped and horrible. But it will do. So the switch is in the off position. I think it's time to see if it will do or die. And one thing I haven't done is wire in the suppressor. Because, well, you know why. There's no need, it might go bang. It might go bang anyway. We have power. Well, that sounds smooth. Shall we put the bag on? Much better, the suction's improved tremendously. That's really good. Now, in the box came this cut down bag, which hasn't really been used. It's a junior senior bag because there were two more in the packet. Which is a shame because they're bloody lovely. But since this one's been cut down, I think we should fit it. Because I do have some Bojack junior bags somewhere, and what I will do is cut down. I have some cheap HEPA flow type, the zip thing's moved, cheap HEPA type Miele S7 bags, which I use for things. I might see if I can chop one of those down and see if it fits. Now, rather than a rubber belt, I have to put that in between my legs. There's a spring. Not sure if I like that compared to the rubber. But I'm sure it's better, so we shall pop the bag on, because as much as these were used without, I don't know, I don't want to ruin the bag, outer bag too much. It needs a wash. I don't know, should I put this through the washing machine, or is it going to make that disappear? I might hand soak it, hand wash it, no, not hand wash it, just dig it in some warm water. But does this work? The bag's going to inflate down there. Let me run for a second. Lovely. Very good indeed. Oh, how clumsy of me. I seem to have spilt some Weetabix all over the table. Should we have a go at cleaning it up? The other ways you can use a dustette, of course, is without the hose, which is filthy. Just attaching the tools. So there we have it. We have restored this Hoover Dustette. I have one number now, 2614, to mechanically perfect condition. Cosmetically, it still has a hell of a way to go. Yeah, I'm going to get the bag washed. I still have to wash the tools because they are filthy as well. All the